uh, don't just assume you're gonna get that promotion or that raise, that anything, or that life won't have bumps in the road, right? Life can be hard. Just be patient.
From cornfields to high rises, office to industrial, houses to hotels, and every other asset class in real estate, we cover the people, the projects, and the profit. Welcome to the Investing in Iowa show. This show is for go-doers, action takers, and business owners. It's for people like you who are sick of Uncle Sam taking a huge bite of your apple. If you're looking to get ahead of what's taking place in Iowa, learn who is doing what, and how you can get in on the action, you're in the right place. Hosted by Neil Timmins, an Iowa native who has been involved in over $300 million in real estate right here in Iowa. Recording in studio from West Des Moines. Here's your host, Neil Timmins.
I've got Scott Turczynski here on the show. Scott, welcome.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate you having me.
I'm excited you're here. Say for the audience's sake, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
I live in Elkhart, just outside. I've got an acreage, and I'm currently in the world of construction. Heartland Finishes, Heartland Companies. I'm the operating officer here, and we've been in business for 23 years now.
All right, take me back to the beginning. Where in the world did you grow up?
Born in Illinois, but I'm an Iowan. I moved when I was 3. So I always say my dad maybe had a midlife crisis and wanted to move out to a farm. But yeah, moved to 3. So I grew up in Monona, Iowa, small town in northeast Iowa. Went all through school there, high school. Went to college at Iowa State for construction engineering. Graduated eons ago in '94 and started working as a project manager at a commercial subcontractor here in Des Moines.
How long?
Worked there for about 8 years and then started Heartland with 2 other partners.
In that role for 8 years, what did you learn that you took forward?
I would say, how to treat your customers, how to multitask, get a job done, take care of the little things and every little project that comes along and just take care of your customers the best you can.
You mentioned multitasking. I've been reading about this. There's a controversy. Some people believe multitasking, got to do it. There's always 8 balls to juggle at any point in time. And others believe wholeheartedly that is actually impossible, that you're not functional at all from a multitask standpoint, that the mind can really only do one thing well, and sometimes not even that, right?
Yeah, maybe it's one thing at that individual moment, right?
Yeah.
If you're a project manager for, say, and you're running 6, 8, 10 projects, right? You might be in the middle of doing an estimate for one of them, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call that you've got to take care of really quick, right? So you got to be able to jump from thing to thing.
Yeah. Is there a project or 2 during that era you were there that really stand out?
One of my first projects was in Capitol Square downtown.
Oh, sure.
And I think everything went wrong on it. And to this day, I still call it Capitol Scare because, right, not afraid to go in there anymore, but it's just what the nickname is. So back from those 8 areas, that's been a while. Nothing's coming to my head here.
That's a big one. What was the single biggest thing that went wrong in that project?
I used a new supplier for ceiling tiles. And, back in the day, they used to have this irregular ceiling grid pattern, and all the tile were cut wrong. And we ended up having to trim quite a bit of those to get them put in the grid. Yep. Yeah, a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, that would do it. All right, walk me forward. Your current company, you started it with a couple of partners. What was the genesis of that?
Yeah, so we felt that we could help our customers better, help our employees better. And yeah, in 2002, we jumped off that cliff, started Heartland Finishes. So we are a framing, drywall, painting, acoustical plaster subcontractor, all in the commercial world. 5 years later, we started a door company, Heartland Door and Frame. Moved to a new location. So we're in the old Casey's headquarters.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, where they were before they moved up to Ankeny years ago. And then a couple years after that, we started doing window treatment for commercial construction. 2019, we created the Heartland Companies. So that's the holding company that owns everything down below. And then 3.5 years, we became an ESOP, or employee owned.
Sure. How many employees now?
We have about 200.
Wow.
Yeah. So not only here in Des Moines, but we're also 2 locations in Cedar Rapids. We acquired a DA Bunch over on that side. They're an industrial painter, so they add to the Heartland Companies portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's been a fun ride.
it has been quite a ride.
Hey, Iowa investors, this is Ava Baukamp, Chief of Staff at Legacy Impact Investors. Have you thought about adding real estate to your portfolio but don't have the time or desire to play landlord? At Legacy Impact Investors, we do the heavy lifting. Our team finds the deals, manages the properties, and handles all the day-to-day operations. Our select group of qualified investors co-invest with us, gaining ownership equity without opening a tenant email or responding to a maintenance call. They just share in the income, appreciation, and tax benefits. These opportunities aren't for everyone. They are for qualified, accredited investors only. If you want to learn more, please visit legacyimpactinvestors.com to apply.
Now, you've made headlines in the past, I don't know, a year, maybe two now at this point, from a tremendous and a very aggressive project that's going in and being done in Bondurant. Talk to me about this silo project.
Yeah, so I always joke. I think I'm in, coming back from the crazy farm or something when I saw the for sale sign for that, and that just started, me thinking about, I had already, I guess at that point, thought about moving out of the construction world and trying to get into something else. And I started looking online, and there are a handful of structures. I don't know the exact number, 20, 30, somewhere in there, where they've retrofit these concrete grain silos
Yep.
to museums, apartments, dorms, hotels. So it is feasible. It's been done. That's the pipe dream, I'll call it, right? So we gotta get the rest of the project going, start getting some steam, getting a little income that I can then put towards the hotel and do a little plan for it.
Yeah. And so the concept behind it is retrofitting the silo in downtown Bondurant
Yep.
and to turn it into a hotel.
Hotel and condos is what I'm
Hotel
thinking.
and condos. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
How many? I'm just curious. What's the size of that in terms of, I guess, how many square feet is a silo? Meaning,
Right. So
yes, you put floors in order to create square feet.
right. So they're 40 foot in diameter, these
Okay.
ones in particular, and 140 feet tall.
Tall. Okay.
And then you can think of a six pack, right? So that's kind of the structure of them, right? And there are two six packs. So in theory, yeah, you put a steel angle and shore and pour all the concrete floors as you go in.
Hmm.
And I'm told you don't want to go over, I think it's 12 stories, because then that gets in another whole level of high rise. So we're looking at that at 10 to 12 range, even if it's feasible to put some sort of structure up above, like a glass conference room area. But could you imagine being up 140 feet and having a rooftop bar up there and the views that you would see, right? Not only the city, but then the expanse of Iowa.
Yeah. Just incredible.
Yeah,
Well, the project is not just a silo. I mean,
right.
there's a multitude of things going on there. The city continues to move in a very positive direction through the new bike trail, some additional roads that are taking place there.
Yeah,
There's a distillery slated as well, is there not?
that is correct. So that's going to be the first, uh, I guess, pit investment, we'll call it, right? That's going to be my distillery, T12 Distillery. And it's going to be right along the bike path. Not only a distillery, but we'll have a speakeasy, cigar patio out back, and then an event space too as well.
What's the time frame for that?
I'm hoping to break ground late June, so
Oh,
next month
yeah. Yeah, as we
sometime,
record this, yeah, I mean, you're weeks away from that standpoint. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe get under production for, spirits by the first of the year, and then open to the public potentially March.
Oh,
That's kind of
okay.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And then during that time, the city is going to do the new Lincoln Street right next to it, and then the bike path behind it. There's some old buildings that are still on the site that I'm going to hope to get down this year too as well. So it's going to create a lot of momentum, and hopefully others will see that and want to be there.
Tremendous momentum. I'm curious on the distillery, what kind of spirits? What's going to be there?
Yeah, so the flagship will be bourbon, but of course that takes several years, right,
Right.
to get. It's my intended purpose to to have a whole line. So you got to start with the clear stuff because that's pretty instant.
Yes.
So vodka, gin, a flavored gin. I want to do an absinthe, which is unique. Just the whole culture behind how that came to being is just pretty cool. So that'll probably be our first four. Maybe a moonshine too as well, which would just be the probably the bourbon unaged.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then obviously that's a select palate, so we probably develop some cocktails with that. And
That's unique. Isn't most moonshine a clear liquor?
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. But when you think of moonshine, you probably think of the real hot, high proof stuff.
Yeah,
This
right.
we would proof this down, and since it's a bourbon, it's going to be fairly sweet because of the corn.
Sure. Can you buy, or is this wouldn't hold true to the brand? Can you just buy, you can buy aged barrels of bourbon, right? There's
You
people who just
can.
have them in storage and
Yep.
then they'll ship them off and you label it as you label it and sell it out the
There
door.
are certainly brands out there that
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
They'll
Yeah. Yeah.
just buy it from somebody else and
Right.
bottle it and call it their own, right?
Right.
But I
Yeah.
guess I'm more of a purist
Purist. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that instance, and
Yeah.
I want the distillery is actually going to be in one of the grain towers as well, and then barrel storage in the other two. So I want to be able to have the tours and to see how it's done, right? I think just in the history that those buildings were part of.
So distillery coming opening early next year, the silo component, what's the time frame for that? That we out a few years?
Yeah, so if we're open next year with the distillery, maybe later that year or the year after, there's other commercial spots too. So
Right.
maybe we can get another one of those buildings up, and then I would probably start investing into the hotel condo concept. And
Yeah.
I'm going to have some plans, some engineering drawn up, and then do some budgeting to get a rough idea of what this is going to cost,
Yeah.
and then go out and start raising money.
If you're a house flipper, execute the burst strategy, or do double closings and are in need of money, Little Guy Loans is your go-to lender here in the Des Moines area. Time is money. Loan approvals in 24 hours. Closings in 5 days. Little Guy Loans was founded by Neil Timmins, an investor just like you. Since he has been in over 10,000 homes in Des Moines, there's never an appraisal. Houses, multifamily, and commercial property loans up to $1 million. Check out www.littleguyloans.com.
All right, the audience will kill me if I don't ask, and you can punt, okay? But I
Okay.
have to ask. What's the thing cost? What's a square foot cost on silo conversion?
So I found a condo that was done in Minneapolis near their lakes up there. It's a little bigger, I would say, than what I'm looking at. In 1982, that was done for 9 million. So if you extrapolate that to today's, I'm guessing around 40 million for the whole thing.
At what level of square feet then? Where do we back down?
I
You
think
said, what did we say?
I think we're about
No.
100 to 110,000 because it multiplies fast once you
Well,
start
yeah,
adding.
you're at 10 levels, you're at 40 feet in diameter times pi
Yeah.
r squared at 10 levels.
Right? I think we were in excess of 100,000.
Yeah, okay. And so you're
What is that?
talking
Let's get the calculator out, right?
400 square foot, 40 million at 100,000 square feet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's easy math. Why couldn't I have done that in my head?
I mean, 400 square feet, that is lower than what I would have anticipated to go into this project. I mean, I know we got a lot of guys who are building that call it luxury, but I'll call it maybe a tier below luxury, and it's still coming in at, some of these condos around town at 400 square feet.
Yeah, construction's expensive right now. My distillery came in a lot higher than I expected to as well.
Sure. It is going to be an incredible draw. I think of, Bondurant has so much going for it today, but tourism is not one of those things. But it's just a stone's throw from Altoona, where you've got and Ankeny. You got a lot of things taking place there. Prairie Meadows comes to mind. That hotel has been nothing but a home run when they stacked that on there.
Yeah.
I just think of what's in the corridor, and somebody has a choice to come to town, and they can stay at any place they can stay across the country because they're all about the same, or you can stay here
in a silo.
That thing is going to be incredible.
Yeah. I
How will you manage that?
manage the hotel.
Manage the hotel. Yeah, yeah. You're gonna
I
third party that, or you gonna
Yeah,
in-house
I'm
it?
gonna third party that.
Yeah,
That is not me,
yeah.
right? I've been in touch with a couple of hotel chains. I got one that seems to be interested in, and just we keep in touch every few months just to see if the project's moving forward. And yeah, I would definitely want a third party to handle all that. And then obviously the condo side would have a home association associated with that. And I would hope there would be some shared amenities, right, between the two groups too as well.
The if memory serves me correctly, I want to say the downtown Marriott in downtown Des Moines, the top two floors are condos.
I didn't
Oh,
know that.
yeah, most people didn't. They were
Yeah.
brought to several of them were brought to market. I'm going to say about 5 to 8 years ago, maybe half a dozen or so, and that was when it popped to my radar to go, really? Is that the case?
Hmm.
Um,
That's interesting.
and so therefore they do have shared amenities, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've got the gym as a shared amenity. There's a number of things there in the shared amenity
Yep.
standpoint.
The pool, right? If you wanted to have that, yeah, the
Cor-
fitness.
Correct.
Um,
And as a result, if you were to look at their HOA and the dues associated with it, what comes to mind is it's one of the lowest HOA dues that exist in all of downtown because of their structure.
right,
Yeah,
right. And I can think of the HOA paying if certain residents wanted for the cleaning service that the hotel's already got, right?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. Oh, I love that idea. Yeah. Will these have balconies?
Probably not outset balconies. I'm thinking probably more inset, right? So we would make an opening in the concrete wall and then
Yeah.
build walls back inside. So you've got a nice living space there, but it's not outside the building.
Yeah, I would imagine some structural uniqueness and challenges. And then maybe, how does that actually look and appeal?
Yeah, I think it's the look, right? It would
Yeah.
detract from it,
Yeah. Where did
definitely.
this what sunk in that this started to you just literally saw the for sale? Who was it? Heartland? Were they disposing of the asset?
No, it was Landis
Oh,
Corporation.
Landis. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just got me thinking because that is just a really unique living space. I live out in the country now, and as of this last week, I'm an empty nester. My last daughter graduated high school, so I'm looking for a new place. That just intrigues me. The dream is for me to live over there in the condos and
Yeah.
wheel across the parking lot to the
The
distillery.
distillery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, my hat's off to you because it takes some brass to go put a project like this to anything
Ambitious.
that's new. I mean, somebody's got to take the first step.
Yeah,
So
it's ambitious. It certainly is. I'm fairly new at the development side of things, right? But being in 20 some years of business, I can put a team together, and we work towards that common goal. And it's been great getting to meet new people in this industry.
but the construction side isn't. There's all these things that line up that lead into development that are components of the development that you've executed on for decades.
Right. That side of things doesn't scare me,
Right.
right? It's the outlay of cash up front in the
Sure.
hopes that, right, this we can get something built here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Oh,
love it.
it's exciting. Hey, why Iowa for you? I mean, you can go anywhere, you can do anything. You've got multiple locations as it is. You could leave the state, but what keeps you here?
I was home. I everywhere I go, when I go on a conference or something like that, and say, "Hey, where are you from?" I say, "The entertainment capital of the world, Des Moines." I've said it enough times in some of my organizations that people now are starting to repeat it.
Yeah.
Iowa's just a great place. It's a great place to raise a family. I say it's our little secret. If you want to fly over, just go ahead and fly over. But
Yeah.
it's a great place. I love it
Yeah.
here.
Scott, you ready for the final three questions?
Oh yes.
Yeah. If you could talk to your 20-year-old self and give your 20-year-old self advice, what advice would you tell yourself?
I would say to be patient. It'll come, right? Don't just assume you're gonna get that promotion or that raise, that anything, or that life won't have bumps in the road, right? Life can be hard. Just be patient, pray about it, and it'll get there.
Two books that changed your life.
Greater Than Yourself by Steve Farber. So I think of that as if you're mentoring someone, wouldn't that be such a great thing to mentor them to be better than you, right? I think
Mhm.
that would be the
Yeah.
ultimate compliment. And Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I know that one's probably a little out there, but I just loved his positive attitude, and he basically willed himself into his success.
the greatest salesperson I ever hired quoted that book during the first interview I ever had with them. And so occasionally he'll bring it up. Still works with us today. Fantastic. And so I can't wait to send this to him because he's going to go, there's somebody else who gets it.
He's right. He's right.
Yeah.
You bet.
If you were cast away on an island for 1 year, you can only get 3 pieces of data about your business each and every month. What 3 things must you know every month to know how your business is running?
So in the construction world, right? What's my backlog? So how much work do I have out there yet that I haven't invoiced? I would want to know profitability every month too as well. And are we in our line of credit, or how much money do we got in the bank? Either one of those, right? And I think it'd be smooth sailing.
I've asked lots of questions. What's one question I did not ask?
Hey, that's 4. You said there were only 3 and 4.
I know, and there's probably 1 or 2 more even. Yeah, I know.
I mean, not you may not even know this. I had an accident in 2000, and I'm in a wheelchair. Spinal cord injury. My T12 vertebrae shattered and got into my spinal cord. And obviously, that takes a little change of mind when that first happens. But I think that has made me more patient, going back to my previous thought, but then also just, you know what, take life as it is and push forward. I'm still positive, and I think that helps with that mentality. And it's the driving force behind the distillery. It's T12 Distillery, which is based on that story, and each spirit will have its own unique name. It'll be some educational or informational piece on them about living with a spinal cord injury. And my hopes is to be able to give X% of profits every year to research. Yeah.
Tell me, what was the most challenging part of having to go through that? Not physically, mentally. What was the most challenging component of that?
Yeah, I think you're right. Mentally, just to know that, hey, you're in a chair, right? That ain't going to change. You know, I don't let it stop me. Right. I'm the mentality. I've been out on my acreage cutting trees down with a chainsaw and whatever. But that's not the hard part. It's the mental part. It's the other medical things that happen within your body, right? Mm-hmm. That changes things. It's not just physical. It's inside too as well. So you got to get over that. You got to have a positive attitude to be able to do that. Unfortunately, some people in that have accidents, they get stuck, and then they get in that I need to be helped mode, right? And they never break out of it. And it's just so, what do I call it? I call it a stubborn independence, right? I won't even ask for help if I know I need it. I'm not going to do it. So, yeah.
What do you attribute your positive attitude towards? Because you're right. You said, a lot of people get into a certain way, and I've read, and you're right, I did not know this, but I've certainly read studies in the past where, the suicide rate is off the chart for people with very significant injuries, this being one of them. And it would seem like so much of this is mental, one's ability to fight and to dig.
Yeah. Your world's not over, right? It's changed.
Correct.
Your world has changed. I remember my kids were young at the time, and I wanted out of that hospital as fast as I could, right? Because I wanted to be back with them. So at first that was my driving force. And then you just gotta flip the mind. I've always been a fairly positive person, so that's probably helped me through life.
Yeah. Well, my hat's off to you for your fight, my friend.
I appreciate that. Come visit the distillery.
I'd be honored to. For other people who want to visit the distillery, learn about it, connect with you, where can they go? What should they do?
Yeah. So right now we've got a website in place, T12project.us. So that's T number 1, number 2 project. And that's generally where we've put some of the press that we've gotten about it. There's some renderings of the distillery on there. And as we continue to go through our development project, we'll keep that updated.
The link's got to be below in the show notes for everybody. Scott, I appreciate you
being
here.
Love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for yours. Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying the show, may I ask a favor of you? Naturally, subscribe so you never miss an episode. But would you rate and leave an honest written review on Apple Podcasts? It does a lot for us here at the show, and I appreciate reading your thoughts. Great guests make for a great show. If you know of another Iowan who would be a great guest, or you yourself have interest in being a guest, well, get on our radar. Visit Investing in Iowa to fill out an application or recommend a guest. And if you want to connect with me one-on-one, go to LegacyImpactInvestors.com. Click on the Invest With Us button in the top right corner, and there you can pick a time for the two of us to get on the calendar and connect. Until next time, keep investing.